Happy Monday. I'm Frederica. I'm an encourager who writes, speaks, sings, and dances. I'm totally artsy and I'll put my writings on anything. I'm a cheerleader and a challenger, a catalyst, and a life shifter. I will rah-rah you as you move toward your next level and shake you up until you find yourself shooketh out of your comfort zone and complacency into your zone of purpose. I'm an idea generator, a why questioner, and a purpose connector. That's my raison d'etre. That's what I do. That's my place in the human race. So welcome to Monday Motivation. I hope this Monday has found you blessed, healthy, satisfied, successful. But in the course of your day, there's some things I'd love to share to encourage, uplift, challenge you, and to call you to the purpose of your vision. As women, I want to spark a conversation and a connection that can lead to a collective of women sharing our strengths, our vulnerabilities, that moves us toward our purpose in life and to impact the world around us. Just to give us some context, we are 57 days away from a new day one. And what will your time on this earth look like? It's just time to take a moment for ourselves. It's time to reassess, to rediscover ourselves, to reimagine our lives, to bring into focus what we want to see our lives become. And so we have so many responsibilities. We wear so many hats. So many people are pulling forth greatness in us. And we don't want to miss our own moments. We have so many others on our plate. Where do we fit in? And so this is just a call to reimagine, to check in with ourselves and our self-identity, to check in with the direction that our lives are headed. Are we coasting? Are we on autopilot? Are we just going through the motion? Are we moving forth with purpose? Are we connected with our why? Do we really know where we are headed with intentionality? And so when we think about those things, we start with the things that are first. And that first thing is, who are you? Who am I in this world? Though there are so many questions that I ask to spark thought and to spark creativity and innovation, to spark reassessment of our lives. And part of that is to start with that foundational question. Who am I? Who am I in this world? Who am I not just to everyone else, but who am I when it's in connection with who I'm supposed to be? And those answers are within ourselves, right? If we give ourselves time and the attention and the focus and centering ourselves even just for a moment to do that self-check-in, we go so much further. And so when we think about who am I, we also want to think about what do I need? And this is a critical question because especially on a Monday morning, we're going into work. We have our focus on our business, on the work before us. And so a lot of times that means that our needs take second place. They are put on the back burner for so many hours in our day. And sometimes for so many days, so many weeks, so many months, and so many years of our lives, we never become priority enough to understand what I need, including the times when our needs shift. And so asking myself, who am I? What do I need? What do I want? And then also asking and bringing into view, what needs to change? What needs to happen going forward for my own needs to be met, for me to do some self-discovery and really ground, make it foundational to everything that I am, who I am. And so what are those things that need to change in my daily life to begin to cause the shift that I have found myself in? Maybe involuntarily, things change, jobs change, people change, times change. And so they've caused us to prioritize changing ourselves. And so what are those things within us and around us that need to change? And then where are we headed? Where am I headed? Not just in my career, but just in my life in general. Because in our world, we are constantly encouraged to compartmentalize our lives. For 8 to 10 hours out of my day, I work. And then after that, for a couple of hours, I shift into getting home and cooking and cleaning and preparing for my next day, taking care of my family. All of those things become priority over our central needs. And so when a woman is depleted, it's almost like we are lifeline in our own families, in our own households, in our workplaces. And so when I'm depleted, all of those around me that lean on me, depend on me, pull from me, access me as a resource, find very little to glean and to gain when I'm on E, when I'm on empty. So when I understand where I'm headed, then I can, pull and centralize all of my resources toward where I really need to be going. So where are you headed? What does my now look like? And am I satisfied with the direction my life has taken? These are questions that we often don't have time to ask ourselves. We may not have time to consider, but they're central to who I am and how I show up in this world, how I show up at the workplace, how I am at home, and all of my places and spaces where I'm counted on, where I'm required, where I'm needed, where I'm wanted, where I'm celebrated, even some of those places where I'm just tolerated. Where am I headed? What does it look like? And am I satisfied with the direction my life has taken? If not, then those are some places that we can call into as opportunity. And if I'm not headed in the direction that I want to go, then it's time to reset. It's time to redirect. It's time to reimagine where I need to go, where I want to go, and answering those questions as to why do I want to switch now? Why am I going along this road when I need to be on another road getting to a different direction? There's so many stats out right now that discuss women in the workplace and how so many women are confined to entry-level positions, lower management positions, that even at the beginning of 2023, Fortune magazine came out with the Fortune 500 CEO list. And out of those CEOs, out of the Fortune 500 companies that were reported, there were 53 female CEOs at the top, one of whom has since left one of the companies, and that is Roz Brewer, who was at Walgreens. So those roles are constantly and consistently changing. But notice that we're heavy at the bottom levels. We're thin at the upper levels, right? As we go up, as we move up the power chain, and those dynamics that we face, those dynamics, those power dynamics that we come into in those roles, they become less and less accessible to us as women. And so that's an alarm bell that so many times we're still part of the first. And so many of our organizations, as we ascend, we become the first female this, we become the first woman that. We're holding these titles of first. We're holding the titles of only. We're holding the titles of a few. And so for the rest of us who want to be part of that C-suite, that want to be part of that elite group of woman CEOs, we often find ourselves having to push outside of the traditional organizations to actually get a taste of that, to actually experience that. And so if you still want to be part of that chain that's going up the ladder and facing those obstacles down to move forward in those directions, we have to constantly reassess. We have to constantly reimagine. We have to constantly push forward and move into places that we haven't been before. And to take that and to do that requires that I spend some time with me, spend some time within, and get my focus ready for this next level. And so that brings us to one of the last questions for the day. That is a motivator. Do you know how to get there? Do you know what it's going to take? Do you know the connections that you need? Do you know the resources that you'll need to pull from? Do you know what kind of CEO you'll need to be to ascend to the role in your organization? Or does it feel far away? Does it feel out of reach? Because if it feels out of reach right now, then that means that I need to take some assessment to get there. It's not impossible, but it does require a plan. It requires a team. It requires understanding my strengths, understanding my weaknesses, understanding who I am, and understanding what I need, and then understanding what my goal is, being clear about that, and then understanding how to get there. And so for all of us, no matter where we are in our lives, whether these questions are sparked for your thinking in the workplace, or you're taking a more holistic view and saying, I need to bring my whole life into account. I need to look at my entire self and understand my purpose and who I'm here to uplift, to encourage, to shift, and to pour into. And then who around me is that for me? And so with all of that being said, it's time for a shift. It's time for a shift. Are you ready for this shift? And if you feel like you aren't, then you're in preparation mode. Because you see your goals in view. And now it's time to move toward them. And I hope that I can be part of your encouragement crew, one of your cheerleaders to help you get there. We're 57 days away from a new day one. And so you can count today as your day one. And asking these questions of yourself, writing down the answers, bringing yourself into the center of your focus, even for just this week, to understand you and where you're going, what you need, what you want, and making those things priority without shame and without excuse. It's going to go so much further for you as you move into 2024. So I hope that this has encouraged you. I hope that this is uplifting to you. I hope this is challenging you to at least bring some of these questions into focus to answer for yourself as we look at and get prepared for 2024 to be the best of ourselves everywhere we go, and to have a more successful year in 2024 even than we had this year. Be blessed, and I look forward to talking with you next time.